It was a quiet Wednesday morning when Margaret, a retired librarian from upstate New York, decided to take her daily medication just before heading out for her morning walk. The sky was pale with soft sunlight, and the air carried the smell of fresh-cut grass. She poured a glass of water, popped her pill, and off she went. 10 minutes later, she was on the sidewalk, but suddenly her vision blurred. Her steps slowed. She felt dizzy, confused, and before she could even call for help, she collapsed. Margaret woke up in a hospital bed a few hours later, surrounded by worried faces. Her blood pressure had plummeted. Her stomach was irritated, and the doctor said something that stuck with her. This didn't have to happen, if only the medication hadn't been taken on an empty stomach. Now, Margaret is not alone. In fact, this is far more common than most people think, especially for those of us above the age of 50. When our bodies change, our digestion slows, and the risks quietly grow. Let's pause for a moment. Have you ever taken a pill just to get it over with? Maybe early in the morning before breakfast, or late at night, thinking food won't matter. If so, you're not to blame. We all want to stay healthy, to keep up with life, to not forget our doses. But here's a gentle truth. The timing and state of your stomach matter more than you know, especially as we age. As we grow older, the protective lining of our stomach becomes thinner. Our digestive acid shifts. Our liver slows down how it processes certain medications. The result, a simple mistake, like taking the wrong medication on an empty stomach, can lead to nausea, dizziness, ulcers, internal bleeding, or even fainting spells. This isn't fear, it's awareness. And today, we're going to go through 5 key medications you should never take without food, and why they matter so deeply, especially for anyone over 50. Let's start with the most common culprits, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. You know them: ibuprofen, naproxen, and even aspirin. They help reduce pain, fever, inflammation. They're easy to grab from the pharmacy shelf. But here's what they don't tell you. These medications strip away at the stomach's natural defenses. When taken on an empty stomach, they can irritate the stomach lining, leading to gastritis or ulcers. Painful, bleeding ulcers that can go unnoticed until it's too late. Imagine your stomach as a garden. When it's nourished with food, there's a protective layer, a cushion. But when it's empty, and an NSAID drops in, it's like pouring acid onto dry soil. The roots burn. The earth cracks. Now, add to that the fact that older adults often already have reduced stomach mucus production. You can see how the risk multiplies. So, if you must take ibuprofen, pair it with a small meal, a banana, a piece of toast, even a glass of milk. Give your body the shield it deserves. Now, let's talk about antibiotics. Not all of them, but some, like doxycycline and clarithromycin, can be especially harsh. Doxycycline, for example, is often prescribed for respiratory infections, Lyme disease, or acne. But when taken without food, it can lead to severe esophageal irritation, acid reflux, or stomach cramping. Imagine swallowing something sharp. They get stuck halfway down. That's what doxycycline can feel like when taken dry or on an empty stomach. And here's the kicker. As we age, our esophagus doesn't push things down as quickly as it used to, so the pill may linger and burn. So always take it with a full glass of water. Stay upright for at least 30 minutes afterward, and eat something beforehand, even something small. Your body will thank you. It's strange, isn't it? Something as small as a pill can carry so much weight. But in a world where we rush, where even our health routines are on autopilot, it's easy to overlook the little things that matter most. So, if you're over 50, or love someone who is, slow down, take a breath, and listen to what your body is quietly telling you. Because prevention isn't loud, but it is powerful. Let's talk now about metformin, a name familiar to millions dealing with type 2 diabetes. It's often the first medication prescribed. Reliable. Effective. But when taken without food, it can cause stomach cramps, bloating, nausea, and in some people, a deep, lingering fatigue. You see, metformin works by lowering blood sugar, but it also affects the way your liver handles glucose. And when there's no food in your system, the balance shifts. Your body becomes confused, overwhelmed. And for those over 50, where digestion isn't quite as sharp and energy isn't quite as steady, that effect can feel even more intense. Some patients describe it like this, so the answer is simple, but powerful. Always take metformin with meals, preferably with your main meal. Let it ease into your system alongside food, not in its absence. Think of it like walking into a crowded room. When food is already there, metformin blends in quietly. But when the room is empty, it echoes, and the body hears it, loud and painful. Now here's something surprising. Iron supplements. So many people over 50, especially women, are prescribed iron for anemia, fatigue, or postmenopausal health. But most don't realize just how tough iron pills can be on an empty stomach. They can cause nausea, constipation, heartburn, and even vomiting in sensitive individuals. You see, iron is absorbed best on an empty stomach. Yes, but it's also one of the most irritating substances for the digestive tract, especially when you're older and your body's balance is more delicate. So, what should you do? Here's a gentle solution. If you've struggled with iron in the past, take it with a small snack rich in vitamin C, something like orange slices, strawberries, or even bell peppers. Vitamin C boosts absorption, while the food protects your stomach. It's a balancing act, a soft dance, and your body, your wiser, aging body, deserves that care. And now, one of the most misunderstood ones, prednisone and other corticosteroids. These drugs are life-saving for inflammation, asthma, autoimmune diseases. But they come with a heavy price, especially on an empty stomach. Without food, prednisone can irritate the stomach lining, raise acid levels, and even increase your risk for stomach ulcers and bleeding. But that's not all. Over time, prednisone also affects mood, blood sugar, and bone health, areas where people over 50 are already vulnerable. Taking it without food is like sending it straight into your bloodstream, unchecked, unbuffered. And when your body is already in a season of slower healing and greater sensitivity, that can be dangerous. So here's what doctors recommend. Always take prednisone with food, not just a cracker, a meal, something with substance, protein, carbs, even fat. Let your stomach be a cushion, not a target. Now, let's pull back for a moment, because here's something deeper. For many people over 50, it's not just one pill. It's 5, 6, even 10 medications a day. This is called polypharmacy, and it's becoming more and more common. And when those medications are taken on empty stomachs, the risks multiply. Stomach irritation, internal bleeding, nutrient malabsorption, drug interactions, fainting spells. The body isn't a machine. It's a garden, a symphony. Each medication changes the tune. So, timing, food, hydration, they all matter more than ever before. The older you get, the more delicate the balance becomes. And the good news? You can take control, gently, wisely, peacefully. Let's sit with this for a moment. Every ache, every moment of dizziness, every upset stomach or wave of nausea after taking a pill might not be you. It might be your body whispering. Your body still speaks. It just speaks softer now. And if we pause long enough to listen, we might hear the gentle request. Medication is powerful, but how and when we take it, that's where our power lies. You don't need to become a pharmacist or memorize every warning. You just need to remember this. Empty stomachs are not neutral. They are vulnerable, especially after 50. Imagine for a moment. Your stomach is like a delicate glass bowl. When we're young, that bowl is thick and resilient, like tempered glass. We toss in coffee, painkillers, acidic foods, even alcohol, and it doesn't crack. But as we age, slowly, quietly, that glass thins. The lining becomes more fragile, the acid more volatile, the protective mucus layers thinner than they used to be. Now imagine dropping a tablet of aspirin or a dose of prednisone into that bowl without any food inside. You can almost hear the echo, the sharp splash, the tiny crack forming in the base of the glass. It might not break today, but day after day, without support, that bowl weakens until one day it shatters. A bleeding ulcer, a hospital trip, a sudden, unexplained dizziness. So what's the soft, preventative wisdom here? Never take that risk lightly, even if you've been fine before, even if nothing ever happened last time. Because after 50, even the smallest cracks matter. Let me tell you about Frank. He's 67, a retired carpenter from Michigan. Strong hands, a quiet laugh, a lifetime of building things for others. Frank had always prided himself on his toughness. "I can take anything," he used to say. But last winter, he caught a nasty flu. The doctor prescribed him ibuprofen and prednisone for the inflammation. Frank, being old school, took them both on an empty stomach, every morning, with just black coffee in hand. After a few days, he felt queasy. By the end of the week, he fainted in his kitchen. The doctors found he had developed a bleeding ulcer. His blood count had dropped. He had to be rushed into emergency care. Frank was lucky. He survived. But now, he never takes a pill without food again. "I thought strength meant ignoring instructions," he told me. "But real strength is knowing when to protect yourself." You might be wondering, what kind of food is enough? Does a cracker count? A banana? A full meal? Here's the calm, science-backed answer. A piece of dry toast or a cracker might help a little, but not enough for harsh medications. A banana or a small bowl of oatmeal offers more substance and is okay for lighter meds like multivitamins or mild antibiotics. For stronger meds, like NSAIDs, metformin, or steroids, a proper meal is safest. That means a mix of some protein like eggs, yogurt, or peanut butter, some carbs, bread, oatmeal, rice, and maybe a bit of fat olive oil, avocado, nuts. Not heavy, just balanced. The idea isn't to eat more than you need. It's to protect your stomach and slow down absorption so the medication doesn't hit all at once. Think of it as wrapping the pill in a soft blanket before it enters your bloodstream. Some people think, technically, yes, some meds do absorb faster without food, but that's not always a good thing. Faster doesn't mean safer or wiser, especially in older adults, where a rapid spike in medication can cause sudden side effects. Blood pressure drops, hypoglycemia, upset stomach, headaches, dizziness, or falls. The goal of medication isn't speed, it's steady healing. And steady starts with support, with food, with time. Let's not forget the simplest companion to medication: water. Many older adults take pills without enough water, or with none at all. This not only makes the pill harder to swallow, it also increases the risk of it getting stuck in the esophagus, causing heartburn, choking, or even damage to the throat lining. So here's a soothing reminder. Always drink a full glass of water, unless your doctor has advised you otherwise for medical reasons. It helps the medication move smoothly, helps digestion begin gently, and helps your body feel respected.